Well, usual, I'm going to put my ultra liberal and ultra conservative twist on things. And I got a weird mix of way I think. I'm going to tell you what I think. You know, Donald Trump wants to have a moratorium on Muslims coming in this country, and I think that's a bit extreme. Uh, what I think though is that if the person is a transsexual or they're a gender blender or they're gay or lesbian or bisexual and they put that down on the form, they can come in. And actually, to make sure of that, they should be tested by some trannies that are Muslim. How's that? Because, obviously, you know, not everybody in the, Islamic culture and faith is intolerant, right? Not everybody. These are Islamic trannies, right? Or transgenders or gender blenders or whatever the hell they got that new phrase out there, whatever, gender menders, gender blenders. So, not everybody is thinking like this guy that was like, I hate these gay people, You know what? They're doing whatever they want. It's their club, right? Just like you're going in. See, their club is like a sanctuary. The gay club is like a sanctuary. Just like your temple, whatever the hell it is where you go pray, is your sanctuary. So, actually, I'm going to do a little more comments on this because I'm not 110% sure what really went on behind the scenes. It could be one of them dark conspiracy theories. But as usual, the communist powers are like looking to freaking screw over everybody in America. And hey, the gays got to get their AR-15s now, man. Those shit, really. And I'm all for screening these guys coming in that are Muslims that might think. But then, if they're a transgender Muslim, gay, they're welcome. Come on in, right? Now, the one thing that's actually killing the gays left and right is AIDS, HIV. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bring this out in this video, even though it's not related to that. I'm going to be talking about what happened, with the gun thing and the murders and stuff. But where there's more gays being murdered, and I call it being murdered because HIV is a disease that was created by U.S. freaking government military. It was introduced in South Africa through polio vaccinations. It did not come from the green monkey. It was also introduced in New York City, in experimental hepatitis vaccinations. It was also used on prisoners and stuff as experimental vaccinations. Gay population's targeted by, the powers that be. There's no bullshit around about that. At the same time, they're making it like, oh, they're pushing the gay agenda at the same time. I don't know how that is, but that's just how they do it. They kind of like act like they're freaking for something, but at the same time, they're stabbing you in the back. Now, with these Muslims that are coming over, they need to be, tested out by the trannies first because, this way if they're safe, they're safe to come over here and they have the right kind of attitude. Otherwise, if they reject the tranny test, they don't come over. That's the way I look at it. Now, as far as the blueberry in the pantsuit, Hillary Clinton, who's trying to run for office, she's saying that, these guns are I'm gonna get rid of your sport, lady. It's not a sport, we're gonna fix you up because actually this blueberry thing with the cottage cheese butt that is has a girlfriend Uma Aberdeen, the Muslim Brotherhood girlfriend that she's like 30 years younger and all that kind of stuff. I don't care if she's a lesbian to tell you the truth with this Hillary yo-yo, but she's an evil lesbian. That's the problem, And I don't care if Michelle Obama is a tranny. Maybe she's a tranny, but she's no good. That's what it is. They're against the people's rights. See, I'm like extreme libertarian, I guess you would call it. I don't really give a damn. I don't care. Yeah, I'm almost like to hell with all the bullshit rules. But you know what? Who's the real freaks? It's not like the Muslims or the Islamic, but you get these guys that are like, who's the real freaks? The ones that are really like super religious, like they got a dogmatic freaking rule. Like Christians could be like that sometimes, but actually don't even see Christians going into nightclubs and killing people. Maybe they would have back in the day. But I also want to actually interject something here because I don't know if there's something nefarious behind what happened that we don't see, that we're not figuring what happened in Orlando with the nightclub. with the shooting of like over killing of over 50 gay participants, right? But you remember when they had the Oklahoma City bombing with McVeigh? That was a setup. This bomb, that fertilizer bomb, couldn't have done the damage they did on the building. Those are actually charges that are placed right against the structure, the actual concrete rebar reinforced structure. An open air fertilizer bomb can't do that. I looked at Brigadier General Parton's analysis. I also looked at Ted Gunderson's analysis. McVeigh was some kind of special forces, pre-programmed zombie, and they wasted him, to cover. And after this, he was convicted of the bombing, but there was bombs inside the building. I mean, that was a thing designed to go after the militia groups in the United States. Actually, what you ought to do is be, like a militia in a suit and just lay low and not be in a green tree suit. That's what you need to do. The other thing is, remember with the freaking Twin Towers with the planes falling, going into it? The planes didn't knock down those things, and you had freaking Building 7, right? I knew all this stuff from day one, man. It was like, this is not. You see, I'm so much ahead of the loop. I mean, probably knew about these things before some of these people. Some of these people on the internet probably watching this video were probably 5 years old in 1993 or some shit. I was wise to shit way before that. I was wise to shit back in the 70s. What was going on? There's a lot of. They're not conspiracy theories, man. They're facts. The JFK assassination. Everybody jumped to the conclusion that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. The guy definitely didn't pull the trigger. It's not even like a theory. Shit, he definitely didn't pull the trigger at all, man. He was 100% patriot all the way. He was set up, and there was other forces that killed JFK. So I'm not 110% sure what even went on with this. We'll find out, I mean, we could talk about the Columbine school shooting. We talk about the freaking Virginia Tech shooting, Sandy Hook. Look at Vince Foster, suicide. Yeah, right, that was no suicide, Definitely not a suicide. The Attorney General back in 1993 for the Clintons. Yeah. What about Ron Brown, the Commerce Secretary, the guy that used to be the Clinton campaign manager? Yeah. The plane just crashed in the freaking side of the mountain in Bosnia. Yeah, he was getting ready to testify against Clintons on Whitewater and a bunch of other things. He was going to spill the beans on him. He's a Clinton insider, right? So, anyway, I just got to tell you, though, one of the problems we got in this nation, and this is where Islam is freaking kicking this nation's ass and Europe's ass, is, in a way, I'm going to bring it down to you in a nutshell, really what it is. It's not so much the religions doing it. The Western culture has become the land of the cook old dorks. Like you hear, the expression conservatives and cook conservatives, cuck conservatives. They lick the feet of women. Once you get down to that kind of stage like that, it don't matter. There's no such thing as a matriarchal society that survives. That's just the way it is. I got no respect for these. I know they're always pushing the bimbos on the TV with Fox and all this other kind of shit. Oh yeah, and they're going to be constantly saying like it was an AR-15 style rifle and you had a high capacity magazine pistol too, and yeah, they're going to be doing that. Well, the point of the matter is he was a nut job freaking Muslim just doing something, and it's not that all the Muslims are doing that because even Obama wouldn't be doing that shit. I mean, he's a Muslim. He's married to a transsexual. First lady is a transsexual. Problem is with Obama, he's a freaking communist. But yeah, I mean, you got Muslims that are transsexuals, right? All right. I mean, these people would be killed in Iran and Iraq and Saudi, and it'd be wasted, right? So they come over here, which is fine. Now, I'm not really pushing a gay agenda or nothing like that, but I don't really care. Do what the hell you want. That's the way I look at it. But I also want to remember, I want people to be reminded that more gays, and I know it's like due to like licentious behavior and stuff, it's will be turned, sex and all this kind of stuff. There's more stuff going on where gays are being killed and tortured to death by HIV. And that stuff can probably, I think it's curable, to tell you the truth. I think it is because if one obvious example is Bill Clinton. I mean, I know he's not gay, but he screwed around with more women than Casanova times 12, you know? And he's never got it. He never liked rubbers or anything like that. I know the government's got a cure for it because the government actually is the one that pushed it in the first place. I think I know what the cure for it is. I put it on some videos, but I can't test it, you know? I can't test the cures, you know? But the thing is, um, I want people to realize, though, that one of the problems too we have in society within the United States, though, like the main problem we got is we got pussy whipped males, and pussy whipped males are definitely never going to keep this country together. I don't care, when they kowtow to Miss Poo Poo all the time. Well, it's the end of the story. This is why Islam is winning out left and right. And you can say, oh, that's sexism. I say, well, good, that's sexism. I don't give a shit. Hillary, that freaking blueberry in the pantsuit with the cottage cheese butt and the freaking varicose veins. I'd have so much fun with this freaking witch. I don't think she's worth a shit. I would have her. She needs to just scrub the damn floors nude. I have no respect for this thing. She should be kept alive and degraded all the way. I have no respect for her any at all. And actually, Bill Clinton, he's a cook old dog. But the relationship there, they're all in on it for the political power, prestige, money, and attention. That's what the game is. But our whole society is falling apart, not because we're not adhering to the Constitution or all this kind of shit like that. We're falling apart over here because the United States is the land of cook old dorks. It's like that's why they put this kind of crap on Fox or RT or ABC, CBN, and whatever. And I see these bimbos on there. I'm like, screw you, man. I mean, I don't care. They're like, yeah, that got my attention. Get lost. I'm like, screw you. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And the Muslims like think, oh, you should wear a burqa. Well, I don't give a shit. You know, slap a piece of bacon on that ass. You know what I mean? I got no That's the way I look at it. That's what I look at the damn ass. And it's the way it is. You'll say that's politically incorrect. I don't give a shit. I don't care. But at the same time, I ain't putting up for no bullshit. You talk about the Second Amendment, and well, you know what? I look at it like that. You know what? All you freaking cook conservatives want to freaking compromise on shit. Go right ahead. I ain't compromising on jack shit. And when you're talking about stuff like what's going on in Orlando or everywhere else, you see, this is war. It's not a matter of terrorism. It's an open act of warfare. This was an open act of warfare against the United States, even though it was helped along by the U.S. government with 911. That was an open act of warfare. I know lots of things were involved in it. You don't have to tell me. I know all this shit. It's an open act of warfare. And, it shouldn't be treated as terrorism. It's warfare, damn it. And you know what warfare means? We go and kick their ass. Now, actually, I'm going to tell you flat out, if this freaking event, that shooting event happened in the 1800s, you know what would have happened? There'd be retaliation against the Muslims, man. It wouldn't be right, but there would be. They'd be all dead. This happened in the 1800s, that's what would have happened. It would have been like, oh, the police and the FBI, the fucking people would have killed them all. But nobody's got balls anymore. That's what would have happened back in the 1800s. I'm not saying to do it. I'm saying that's what would have happened. Now, I want to bring something up here because this was actually going on back in New Jersey back in 1966 when this dipshit called Arthur Sill, he was the Attorney General, was pushing for all this gun control in New Jersey with a New Jersey firearms ID card, two sets of fingerprints, a set of, what do you call it, two references that the police check up on, mental health evaluation plus a criminal background check and all this kind of shit. I personally don't even think if you commit a crime, you do your time, you can buy a gun. I don't even give a shit, you know? I mean, it's kind of ludicrous that even in this country, if you have one domestic dispute between your spouse or your partner, you're forever prohibited from buying a gun or some bullshit. Whereas in, if you're looking in the Quran or something, they'll say, this is how you should beat your wife or something. And they're coming over and buying guns, right? And shooting up people, right? Fine. Yeah, go ahead. But anyway, this was something I want to point this out because this was the only guy. Everybody else was talking about sporting purposes, and Hill the Beast said, "Well, I'm going to take your sport away." Well, it ain't a sport, you bitch. You know, I put meat hooks in her tits and freaking hang her from the ceiling. I'm serious, man. I got no freaking sympathy for that bitch. And but anyway, this was Edward Kopech, and this he says, and this is interesting because he never owned a gun. He didn't want to own a gun. He said, "My name is Edward Kopech." He's arguing back in 1966, but he's the only guy that actually had it right. Everybody else was saying about sporting purposes and responsible ownership and all this bullshit like responsible ownership, whatever. What the hell? You're allowed to have it, man. It's in your inherent freaking right. Damn it. He goes, "I'm not a polished public speaker, so please hear me out. If I sound nervous, I'm sorry. I'm just an ordinary citizen. I don't have a gun. I don't intend to get a gun." He's talking about the New Jersey bill. He's going on to say this bill probably means well. It doesn't mean well. I know it doesn't mean well, but I'm afraid it can backfire. By that I mean we're all old enough here to remember a little paper hanger named by the name of paper hanger by the name of Adolf Hitler. He took half of Europe without firing a shot, and this was done through gun registration. Now, at the time, this was 1966. He was talking 1938. So comparing 2016, that's like saying, if we were talking about, relative to now, that would be like saying, Hitler's invasion of Austria was 1988. When you're comparing it to 1966 to 1938. So it was very fresh in their minds. So you can remember 1988. They had an act over there under the guise of safety and protection, of the children and all that. And they registered practically all the guns for sporting purposes. And remember, in 1937, the Nazi army marched into Austria, and then literally took it without firing a shot. Then again in 1938, they marched into Sudetenland, which was part of Czechoslovakia at the time, and they took that almost without firing a shot, simply because they knew just about where every gun was, and over and over and over again, of course, until they got, up against the Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, and they fought them damn hard. Well, you know what? I'm Jewish in spirit all the way, and actually I'm going to find out from my mom if she's got some Jewish blood in her through DNA testing. We're going to find out, man. I got no, I know these Muslims can be really screwed up and shit, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're not all screwed up, and I know they got the crap that's in the Quran about killing all the infidels and stuff, but not everybody believes in that shit. Just like, I'm supposedly Roman Catholic and Christian. I'm Roman Catholic, and I can tell you the Pope is the biggest bunch of freaking waste of space going. I don't like that guy at all. He's a New World Order operative, and I'm supposedly a Catholic, and I'm supposed to obey that guy. It's like he's infallible. I'm like, get out of here, man. I can listen to that yo-yo. But yeah, I'm just gonna tell you, man. This is my own twist on things because I think any Muslim male that comes over here and they want to worship Allah and they want to worship their religion, they can. But first, just to prove that they are sensitive to the needs of gays and in light of this event, I don't think we should be going after any AR-15s or weapons. I think every Muslim that comes over here ought to get screwed in the wazoo by a transsexual. How's that? And then once they get screwed in the wazoo by a transsexual, they can get their, green card or whatever the hell it is, and they can come live here. How's that? Then we know, hey, you must be a good Muslim because you got screwed in the wazoo and you're you're sensitive to the needs of transsexuals, gender blenders, gender benders, and lesbians and bisexuals and gays and all other stuff. How's that? So that's my proposal for a national law. Now Hillary and Hillary Hildebeest, considering that you're a freaking out and out lesbian forever, I don't see why you'd be against this law. Okay, right? And any Muslim woman that are coming over here, maybe ought to have dinner between your legs. Okay, how's that? Now this is definitely going to be too hot for you too, but whatever. But that's what I'm telling you. Okay, we could pass a national law, right? But you know what? Since you're a freaking commie dictator, bitch, and that's what you are, Hildebeest. You don't want that. You want to freaking make everybody in the United States your freaking personal slave. And I say, no way, blueberry cottage cheese butt. No way. And that's all I got to say about that. Okay. So, and beware that possibly, well, the one guy that told you about what the Nazis did, he was accurate. He's the only guy in there. That's the whole freaking point of having people having guns. You don't have the government doesn't freaking control shit. They can go to hell. As a matter of fact, if all the righteous people have guns, you don't need the government be out of job. As a matter of fact, if everybody was concealed carry everywhere, half the cops would be out of jobs. They'd be doing like traffic duty, you know, taking reports down for vehicle accidents. But all the major crime, you wouldn't even need cops for the most part. Everybody was doing concealed carry. That's why, everybody ought to be their own little special deputy sheriff on their own, right? That's the way it ought to be, you know. And as far as religious nut job radicals, I don't like any religious nut job radicals. I don't give a damn what freaking religion they are. You know, and I possibly think that there could have been something else going on behind the scenes with this deal with this shooter. We might not know the whole story. I heard he's linked. He might be the son of some Afghan bigwig or something. He might be. I don't know what the hell the guy is. But usually something comes out that's a lot different that the major media is not telling you. And I'm not going to be brainwashed by blonde bimbos and with short skirts. When you're looking up their crotch, on the camera, that they're supposed to be like telling me, "Oh hi, holy, oh." Yeah, I don't give a shit, lady. I don't care. You know, they're not selling me nothing. They're not selling me nothing. That goes for all of them. RT, Fox, CBS, CNN. I don't give a shit who the hell they are. They're not selling me nothing. So anyway, that's my update on this shit because I got my own way of thinking. It's like, the hell with the damn rules, and everything's common sense. And well, I think they ought to not look at so much the guns, but they ought to start looking at who these assholes are that they've been letting in the country. Because we know there's a lot of these Syrian refugees that are coming in the country clandestinely. And you know what the reason is? To create a bunch of problems. Now, if they want to bring the Syrian refugees in, like I said, they got to go through the tranny freaking indoctrination first. And then if they go through the tranny indoctrination first, then fine, we know they're okay. That means they're tolerant. But otherwise, they don't come in the country. How's that? That'll solve that, right?